Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Monday, December the 12th, 2022. Monday, December the 12th, 2022. And today's episode was all right. Just all right. We had Chelsea finally. She's talking about something the therapist said do, right? Versus what Billy is saying do. Although she doesn't talk about what Billy tells her to do, but she is influenced a lot by Billy. But her therapist is diving in, giving her tasks to do, and good. I like that. But it was the make amends. So she got up confident. She made breakfast for Connor, and he was feeling happy seeing his mother in an upbeat mood. And Adam was downstairs because he was going to pick up Connor to take him to school. And he was talking to Sharon, thanking her for the advice that she'd given him regarding, talking and interacting with Chelsea. And he said, yeah, the conversation went well, but then it took another turn. I mean, there's going to be ups and downs, but Adam's trying. He goes, I'm a little nervous going up there because I don't know what Chelsea is going to open the door, which, what mood, what person, what type, is going to open the door. But Sharon said, bottom line, you handle it with sensitivity and X, Y, and Z. So he knocked on the door and they had saved a couple pancakes for him, but of course he wasn't going to sit down and eat. And he was like, well, you're in a good mood today. She goes, yes, I am, and they ended up walking Connor downstairs, and Connor was happy seeing, looked at his dad when he goes, you're in a good mood. Good to see it. And Connor was like, yep, she sure is, So they went downstairs, and Sharon was saying, wow, you all look really, really happy today. Good to see it. And Connor's like, yep. And so Adam's like, well, let's get off to school. And she goes, Connor, there's a special treat from Crimson Lights in your backpack for snack time. And so Adam's like, yeah, that's a perk for living, upstairs to the coffee house, right? And then they said, and thanks to Sharon for being such a good friend. So Adam takes Connor off to school. And then Chelsea goes, Sharon, do you have a minute? And Sharon says, sure. She goes, she told her, yes, she had a great therapy session. She's been having good therapy sessions with her therapist, and her therapist gave her a task. And Sharon's like, okay, it seems like you're ready to tackle it, right? And she goes, yes, I am. And this first task is with you. And Sharon looked like, wait, what? I need to make amends to people. Kind of like in, your AA steps. My step is I need to make amends and recognize a lot of the mistakes that I made, and accept them and make amends for them. So she, apologizes to Sharon because Chelsea and Sharon have had a definitely tumultuous past. I mean, definitely. And one thing that Chelsea said, which was so true, and you don't think about it. See, Sharon has been the breakup point for Chelsea and Adam's marriages more than once. Sharon. And usually, especially in the past, it had to do with her mental illness. Adam always had to run to her rescue. Adam always had to protect her. At one point, Adam lived in a really big house that he had Chelsea in, and Connor was a baby. And the property had a guest house. And Adam was stashing Sharon back there, letting Sharon live there while she was on one of her spiral downs. And Chelsea found out about it. Sharon has been the cause of a lot, right? And so she says, I resented you for causing problems between Adam and I, for coming between him and I. She says, but I didn't realize, Sharon, you were suffering from your own mental issues, mental health issues. I never understood that till now. And Sharon's kind of like, yeah, But anyway, Sharon accepts her apology. And they did something very realistic because Sharon said, yes, I did. I had a hand in a lot of our past, our, the resentment that we have for one another. But Sharon didn't dive into her, let me make amends to you, because that's not Sharon's journey right now, period. And I liked how they wrote that realistically. Just because someone wants to come and make amends to you, their motive has to be just that. They need to make amends to you in order for them to move forward. But so often when people want to apologize to us or make amends to us, they stop and they look at you like, okay, now it's your turn. You apologize for everything you did to me, but mind you, name them. So I can tell you I'm sorry, but that's not what it's for. You need to go and be able to do it. And that person, and sometimes, you know what the harsh reality is? The other person may not be ready to accept your amends, and that's hard, or even to accept your apology. Isn't it funny that we know how hard it is for us to finally get up the nerve to apologize to someone, and then they don't accept it? They're not ready. Usually that hurts us, that we get offended because how dare they? It took me 5 years to finally apologize, and they're not accepting it. Well, doggone it, it might need to take them another 2 years to accept it. You're supposed to be apologizing because you meant it, not because you want me to really. So what your goal was, what, for me to apologize to you? Is that really what it was? But anyway, that's off topic. I don't know how I went down that rabbit hole, but I like the way that they had Chelsea taking responsibility for her reaction, for her actions. And even, she says, I wish I could make amends to Ray. And so Sharon said, I would like to think, she goes, and I'm sorry for bringing him up, but she goes, no, I think about Ray every day. I don't want to talk about him every day, but I think about him every day. It's okay that you brought him up. And she says, Chelsea, I would like to think that Ray is looking down on you now and he's smiling because he's seeing the progress you're making. But Ray forgave you a long time ago. And he did. Ray forgave her a long time ago, which allowed Sharon to be on the road to seeing some good in Chelsea. That's how that journey started. So anyway, they had a good conversation. And then Adam came back to the coffee house and Sharon said, Adam, can we talk? I'm not Sharon. Chelsea said, Adam, can we talk upstairs? So they go upstairs and she says, I need to make amends to you. And he's like, Chelsea, no, you don't need to make amends to me. Truth be told, I've hurt you way more than you've hurt me. I've put you on some dark paths. And she says, yes, we have had a troublesome history, a negative, I forget what word she used, history. She said, but Adam, it's not about that. It's about what I need to tell you. I'm sorry for my part in it. I'm sorry because I have done, come on, she tried to kill him. She really did some things and ended up hurting Ray setting them up for murder. And she goes, I am really, I want to apologize and make amends. I'm trying to move forward. And I just need you to know that. And he goes, well, apology is accepted. Your apology is accepted, Chelsea. Because we both have done some damage, but for you, this is where you're at. He goes, I'm happy this is where you're at, and I accept that. And so she says, yes, I've already spoken to Sharon, and now I've spoken to you. And now that I've spoken to you, I'm trying to get my train of thought together. I can move on to the next person. Is Billy. Billy is the next person that I have to have, the conversation with. And she goes, that's going to probably be one of the most difficult ones that I have to make. And then she says, and if it's okay, I want to make amends with Johnny. And for me, I was thinking, you know what? I understand Billy, but and she goes, if Billy and Victoria will let me make amends with Johnny. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know if I really agreed with the Johnny, right? Because she already apologized when Johnny came and talked to her at Thanksgiving. And he explained how, he was sorry for being so harsh. She already said, I'm sorry for trying to force you into it and all of that. That piece has already been made. She needs to lay off Johnny and allow for a relationship with her and Johnny to grow organically. Because what's going to happen, obviously, Johnny and Connor are talking at school. Connor's going to say, hey, Johnny, you want to come over after school? You could see our mother for a few. I mean, let Connor be the bridge to Johnny, because Johnny will feel comfortable telling Connor, not yet, man, maybe next week. You know what? I'm getting there. And Connor will accept that. Connor will make sure that that's a smooth transition. But for Chelsea to come with this whole making amends to Johnny, I think that's going to be more trouble than it's worth. I think that's not needed in my opinion. In my opinion, the bridge is already happening between her and Johnny. Leave it. Let it continue to happen on its own, because she wasn't expecting Johnny to come up to her at Thanksgiving and start talking to her, right? He just did that on his own. Well, because Connor told him what was happening, right? Connor just said, look, don't say mean things to her today. The Connor was happy that Johnny went over and said something. So, that was good. And so Billy is going to be next on her list. Now we have Lily. She's at society early in the morning. She was supposed to have had a breakfast meeting, and Billy comes in. And he goes, hey, Lily, I missed you, didn't get to see you. You left out of here so early. And she goes, yeah, I had an early morning meeting. And he goes, can I sit? So he sits down, and she goes, yeah, I had an early morning meeting. We didn't even get a chance to, say a proper, good morning or goodbye. And he goes, oh, who was your meeting with? And she looks at him and she says, what, do you think I'm lying? Now, that response, I didn't think was the right response, because she said, do you think I'm lying? I don't think Billy thought she was lying. The thing Lily really wanted to say is, it's none of your business, it's business. And that's what she should have said. She should have said, you know what, Billy? Bottom line, you're not a Chancellor employee anymore. You're not my CEO or COO. So the meetings that I'm having, the work topics, you know what? Some of them are going to just not be topics we can discuss, or we will discuss. Who I'm meeting with and what the meetings are going to be about are going to be off limits. See, that's what she should say. Because he was really saying that thinking, oh, really? Are you meeting Daniel? Is that who the meet? That's really what it was about. Who are you meeting with? See, he's thinking it's Daniel. And then it's, well, what's his project? See, no, I'm not going to tell you the projects that Chancellor Winters is working on unless I want to tell you, Billy. Period. It's still a raw subject or touchy subject. So work should be off limits, but you notice they can't even really have conversation, just natural flowing conversation anymore. Because Billy sat down at the table, and you want to know what he initially absolutely did? Crossed his arms and said, yeah, because I did want to talk to you this morning. I wanted to carry on with the conversation about Chelsea. Oh my God. As soon as he would have said about Chelsea, I would have said, you know what? I'm getting ready to head to work since I'm not having a work meeting. Because he goes, no, I wanted to, and I'm not talking. So she goes, wait a minute, where is this coming from? I have told you multiple times how that conversation went. And so she point blank said, is Chelsea trying to tell you something different, that I made her feel X, Y, and Z? Is that what she's doing? Because that didn't happen. And he goes, well, no, she's not. So then Lily looked at him and she said, oh, so this is you. This is you feeling this way. And he goes, well, I'm just saying now, she's like pulling back. And say, no, what? That's on her, Billy. You're smothering. And so she goes, no, see, here's what you need to look at. This is yet another addiction you have. You're treating it this way, Billy. Everything revolves around it, and you have to control, and so he goes, no, I'm sorry, that's how you see it. She goes, could the truth be, Lily, you are, what did he say? You are threatened by Chelsea. You're threatened by her. As I really think that's what this is. And Lily said, I am not threatened by Chelsea. I'm concerned about Chelsea, but I'm more concerned about you. See, and my whole thing, no, you know what? Take Chelsea's mental health issues aside. That's aside. Your reactions, your all-consuming reactions is a concern to me, period. And it's obviously, and he goes, well, you know what? He goes, I just make sure you voice these opinions to me and not to Chelsea. And Lily looked at him and said, why would I ever tell Chelsea my concerns about you? See, and I thought that Billy doesn't see it. Why would Lily? In other words, he's saying, don't talk to her anymore. Lily didn't ask to talk to her the first time. Chelsea called her up. Billy is so busy out there trying to alienate everybody, Adam included, from Chelsea, period. So they're talking, and she goes, she's looking at him because they're mid into this, not yelling at each other. And then he gets a text and he takes his phone out and he looks at it. She goes, oh, well, who's that text from? It's not important. It's not important. She's like, no, let me guess. Chelsea. And he goes, no, we're talking about this. No, I'll deal with this later. She goes, no, Billy. For one thing, now that it's happened, you're completely preoccupied. She says, go ahead, respond, go to her like you always do. And he just looked at her. And you know what he did? He got right on up and ran right on to Chelsea's. See? Ran right on over there like he always does. Is everything okay? Well, yeah, everything's okay. I just want to talk to you. You know? And it should have been, oh, great. You know, Chelsea, I'm always here for you. But kind of, we need a better smoke signal texting. Can we talk? We kind of need to go, maybe, can we talk urgent if it's something urgent that I know I need to get up and leave, because Lily and I were in kind of but Billy is like, no, anytime you text me day or night, I'm coming running. That whether it's, I just wanted to know, did you know that Crimson Lights got in a new flavored donut? It is fast becoming my favorite, Billy. And I thought of you. As soon as I tasted it, I thought, Billy, I want to taste this. So I text you. No, that's not what she said. But anyway, she told Billy that she needs to make amends. That's what the therapist was saying. And she says, Billy, your conversation is going to be the most difficult for me. The most difficult. I'm going to have a hard time with your, talking to you. So that's where they left it with Billy and Chelsea. But then we had Ashley called Phyllis and Nikki over, and they're talking. And Ashley tells them that Diane has left town. And Phyllis is like, wait, that fast? And Ashley's like, Jack told me today. And, that Stark here caused Diane to leave. And Nikki says, well, then we accomplished our goal. Good. Because now Stark will follow her right on out of town. Woo! I'm happy this is over. And Phyllis is like, something doesn't seem right about that. And Diane and Ashley's like, well, look, he's gone. I mean, she's gone, so he should be next. Good. Let's just get this over with, right? Because people aren't, really, we did go too far, and let's just get this behind us. So Phyllis obviously leaves because she shows up at Jabot. Summer's outside Jack's office, and Lauren comes up saying, what's with, no, Daniel. She's given Daniel a tour. She had given him one. They finished up, and Daniel's like, what's with all the security here? You all thinking somebody's going to steal company secrets? And Summer's like, it has happened, but just precautions. And she's dancing around it, right? Daniel sees it, but not concerned enough that she's really kind of evading his questions. So their visit is done, and Lauren comes up and says, Summer, what is going on with all the security? And she goes, well, we just can't be too careful. And then Lauren is saying, I am worried about your mother. Your mother is obsessed. Your mother can't let it. I mean, she was just, in my opinion, kind of betraying Phyllis's confidence with her daughter, just going all into it and how worried she is about Phyllis, right? And then I think she led with Phyllis, and then she ended up on the security end. And then Jack came up, and Jack kind of smoothed over the extra security. And Summer said, Jack, don't we have to go and prepare for the meeting we're going to have? And he goes, yes, let's go into my office. So they're like, see you later, Lauren. And Lauren walks off. But Lauren is kind of like, something ain't right here, but whatever. So she walks off. Now, Jack and Summer talks it, okay. She goes, I heard from Kyle. He made it. He and Diane, he got Diane safely settled into the cabin. I knew it would be the cabin. I knew it would be the cabin. If everybody knows you have a cabin, wouldn't you think that's where I'm going to stash somebody? Is at my cabin? It wouldn't be, let's send her to a hotel in New York that we don't own. It's going to be, let's send her to another property that we own, because that's the way we roll, right? So that was an ingenious place, guys. Now, Stark doesn't know, but Stark will know, I'm sure. And so he says, good. And Jack's like, look, we have to be vigilant. Lauren, I feel like she bought it, and the whole 9 yards. He says, Summer, you can't tell anyone. And we can't even talk about where Diane is or Diane in front of Harrison, because Harrison can innocently tell Ashley, tell, anybody about what's happening with Diane. She goes, no, agreed. We really won't have any conversations like that in the house. And, she goes, and you can't tell your mother. She goes, oh, I know I can't tell my mother. And you better believe I won't tell my mother, right? And who comes right to the door? Hey, Summer. Hey, Jack. Having a meeting? And Summer turns and looks at her mother. Jack looks up from his desk at Phyllis with his Jack daggers. And she goes, what y'all talking about? What you talking about? It's a meeting. Now, mind you, they didn't call her in for a meeting. And then she goes, hey, but there's one person missing. Where's Diane? And I'm like, Phyllis, you can't. Phyllis, even though she's my favorite actress on the show, sometimes her character just really it just irks me. It pisses me off, because it would piss anybody off. And so Jack goes, cut the crap, Phyllis. You already know, thanks to you, Diane has left town. Well, good. But what do you mean, thanks to me? And he goes, Stark already said it's you that called him. And she's just looking like, mm-mm. He's here because of you. She's like, no, he's here because of Diane. And so Jack tears out of the office, snatches his coat, and walks out. And so Summer turns and looks at her, and she goes, wait, what? What? Why are you looking at me like that? I've done nothing wrong. She goes, you've done nothing wrong? You brought a criminal to town. No, Diane brought him to town. Diane brought him to town. He's here because of Diane. And I'm like, no, Phyllis, actually, he's here because of you. Now, he would have gotten there. You should have stayed out of it. Because he was trying to find Diane for his millions. You should have stayed out of it, but you couldn't, right? And so she goes, I've done nothing. And wait a minute. Just, it wasn't too long ago. You said you were sick of Diane and she had to go. Summer said, I was sick of all the never ending, unfolding lies she was telling. That's what I was sick of. But I would never do anything to put my son in danger. I wouldn't put that little boy in danger either. She goes, you know what? But yet you did, Mom. Yet you did. You led Jeremy right to the house. Yes, you did. And what you did is, what did she say? Like despicable or she would never, indefendable. She would just never defend. She goes, I'm done defending. It's indefensible. And walked out on her mother. And Phyllis was like, so she's leaning against Jack's desk, like, wait, how am I the bad guy? How am I the bad guy? Wait, what, Phyllis? So she stands up and turns around and is completely startled with her father. Mr. Stark, how did you get past security? And he goes, I'm very persuasive. I'm here looking for Diane. She's not here. Yeah, she didn't come to work. She checked out of her hotel room yesterday, apparently. I want to know where she is. Phyllis is like, what? Diane and I are not friends. I don't know where she is. And he goes, you know, as well as I know, you're the one who contacted me about Diane. So you have no love lost for her. Why don't we go someplace private so we could talk? And Phyllis is looking like, wait, huh? Me? You want me to go with you? Yeah, because see, he's a criminal. And you don't know how much of a criminal he is, Phyllis. And you want to know what else? It wasn't even 30 seconds of Summer storming out that he showed up in there, which meant he was outside while Summer was yelling at you. Door was open. He was listening. That's your daughter. You put your daughter now in the crosshairs of a criminal, Phyllis. But you would never do that, right? I would never do that. I wouldn't put anybody in harm's way. Yes, you did, Phyllis. And it's about to go down. It's about to get rocky. You know, he's either going to now somehow tell Phyllis something will happen to her family unless she helps him find Diane. You hate her anyway. You find out where she's gone. And then I'll be gone. Or that was their daughter? Ooh, I see the resemblance. She looks just like her mama. Yeah, Phyllis. And she would be, you leave my daughter out of this. And he goes, I'm going to only leave your daughter out of this if you help me. Now, let's see if they write it that way. I don't know, because see, that didn't happen. None of that part happened. The only part happened, he told her, look, let's go someplace private. I'm just saying, Phyllis is now sucked in. And you know what? Out of all of them, good for her. Good that it's her that's now sucked in, because if anybody can land on her 2 feet where this is concerned, it's going to be Phyllis. It is going to be Phyllis. She will. I don't really feel at all she's going to end up hurt behind none of this. She's going to lose everybody behind this, but I don't believe he's going to hurt Phyllis at all. So anyway, listen, let's go to Comic Corner, Comic Corner. But before we do, let me say this. I should have said this at the beginning. Trust me, it's on my notes. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed. Push the subscribe button. It's in the bottom right so that you can get notifications of all my daily recaps. Let's go to Comic Corner. Libby said, I thought you mentioned that Diane was going to the cabin. I kept drifting off to sleep as I watched, but felt pretty sure that was the plan. Yep, and that's exactly where they took her. It was so predictable. So I wonder if Jack will throw a chair through the window when he gets pissed at Ashley. LOL. You talking about what he did to Victor years ago through the Newman Towers. Tucker is isolating Ashley from others and turning them against her in order to get her on his side. He wants to help her take over Jabot. I didn't think much of him at first, like y'all did. He bordered on totally boring, so he was so chill. But to see how he's so unflappable now, it's delightful. Even when Diane slapped him, he offered her money. It was hysterical. I think he offered her the money first. And she, money. That may have been the old me. I wanted your money. I don't want it now. I got Jack's money. Tucker. There's magic in Little Dom. Every actor scene with him is golden. They feel so real. Yeah, the baby's very calm. He's very calm, which is good. He is actually, except for that one time he was crying in that scene with Tucker at Devon's house, and Devon kept giving him Cheerios, the act to kind of calm him down. But this kid has to be held by people he really does not know, right? And that's the way it is with actor babies and kids. They have to be holdable by strangers. Thanks again for the fun recaps. We get to hear you say what you're thinking at so many of the scenes, like we do IRL. I am so happy you put in real life in parentheses, because I never would have known what IRL meant. So thank you so much, Libby. With people we love, our mama, our grandmother, our partners, much more enjoyable than other straight recaps that just tell what happened in the story. I like doing my recaps this way. Years ago, oh my God, it was 30 years ago, I was on a job. I used to work at a hospital 30 years ago. Yeah, I am that old, folks. And one of my coworkers, we both loved General Hospital, right? And at our lunch break, that's all we talked about. And sometimes we would be arguing because, sometimes we didn't like the same characters. And boy, those were fun times. Oh my goodness, those are fun. And that's what I kind of wanted to make this recap. Me just talking and reading your recaps is like your comments is like where you're talking back to me. And then Dito said, did you see how civil Nate was with Lily? And Lily sat down with him and put him in his place. She set personal boundaries. Yep. And then when he asked about Amanda leaving, Lily told Nate that was family business and it did pertain to him. Good. I know she did. And then naturally he had to poke at Devon to get under his skin. He may be trying to make amends with Lily, but he has a serious axe to grind with Devon. He sure does. And when he asked Devon as they were walking away about Amanda, and Devon said, none of your business, or none of your damn business, Lily looked at Nate like, I already shut you down. Why are you asking him? You know, she gave him that look, right? And then she says, Diane is going to be at the cabin. May I remind everyone about the last, what last happened at the cabin? Summer's first husband was found dead there. I want to say his name was Aaron. You know what? I don't remember his name because he was such a non-entity. But I can't say for sure. I remember that it was Lauren and Michael's son. What is their son's name? What is Lauren and Michael's son's name? Anybody, because it's slipping my mind. They haven't really talked about him or had him on. And in the comments for tomorrow, put what his name is. He snuck and put a drug in the drink, and everybody there got drugged, and somebody came. And who killed Summer's husband? Who did it end up being? It was an unlikely person, I kind of think, who killed Summer's husband. But Summer found out that that's where he had been sleeping with Abby, right? And then LaShunta says, Lily, the airhead, she's going to be the reason Devon loses Jill's company. No, I disagree, LaShunta. It is Jill that's the airhead. Jill is pushing Lily to get results. If Jill said, you know what, we're going to give up on it today, Lily will be just as happy. But this is Jill's baby and brainchild and disaster in the making. She talked about it to the merger. She brought Nate on, and she rushed into the IPO. Nate is not sorry. Elena's going to be sorry. All Devon did for her, especially when Vicky will end up with Nate. Oh, that's going to happen. I see that. You see weakling Jack didn't step to the man like he stepped to Phyllis. I know. He's ready to tear Phyllis a new one. And Annette says, Diane is with Ashlyn to set the Abbotts up, and Victor knows the truth about it. You mean was with Ashlyn when Ashlyn was alive? Was working with him? Because Ashlyn is very dead. And then Annette says, oh no, I almost gave a clue away. You watched ahead. And that Phyllis is going to solve where Diane is at. Oh, well, look, I'm not going to read this comment then. We have to wait, Annette, stop it. And then you said, I believe Jack's nephew isn't an Abbott, but Tucker is their family, but from whom? Who is Jack's nephew? Jack doesn't have a nephew. Ashley does not have any sons. Tracy does not have any sons. So I don't know who you meant Jack's nephew. Jack doesn't have a nephew. And then Annette says, Lily needs better roles in love. Will Ashlyn play a part in all of this crime and take over? What do you mean Ashlyn? Ashlyn Locke is dead. Ashlyn's gone. So who do you mean? Are you talking about will Tucker play a part, or will I don't know, but it's definitely not Ashlyn. And then Annette also says, oh, Phyllis' mouth won't stop until she loses everything and everyone. Tucker has a daughter of darkness playing Hoya. Maybe to get over on Victor. I don't know what daughter, because look, we found out that Audra definitely ain't his daughter. So, whoa, we found that out. But yeah, Annette, I don't know what that comment was on either. But anyway, that is it for Comic Corner. Comic Corner, that's it for the daily recap of The Young and the Restless. I will be back tomorrow for tomorrow's next daily recap.